we've all seen figures that have come out from a number of different organisations about the crisis. We know that there are, in England alone, 133,000 vacancies in the NHS. We're now seeing figures about excess deaths. And by excess deaths, we basically mean people who are dying who should not be dying. We started off with figures between 300 and 500, and now there are reports today it could be even more than that. So these are people who should not be losing their lives. So we've got the figures, but what we're also seeing is evidence from our members, from their day-to-day experiences. We have spoken with members who work as paramedics in ambulances, who are queued up outside hospitals, who are with people with serious conditions and in some cases have died. And our members have been in the ambulances with these people knowing full well, if only they'd have got them inside the hospital, then their lives may have been saved. So trying to cope with that and dealing with that is, I can't even imagine how people cope with that. We've spoke to nurses who go home every day and cry because they haven't been able to provide the sort of care that they want to provide, despite all of their efforts. You know, sometimes putting in 18-hour shifts, working well beyond their normal hours. And we've got members now who are relying on food banks because they can't afford to pay the rent. When you get to a stage where hospitals are providing food banks for their own staff, then perhaps that says an awful lot about why people have been prepared to vote yes for strike action. Pay, as far as pay is concerned, there was no offer from the government. There was no proposal on pay at all put by the government. The trade unions obviously said, we want to talk about pay. Now, here's what we think. And in Unite, we think it should at least be the 14% RPI measure of inflation. But the government did not wish to discuss pay for 2022. That's what we're in dispute over. That's what the strikes are over. The government didn't want to discuss that, and there was no proposal. What happened at the weekend before was lots of rumour being put around that there might be a lump sum, or that the 2023 pay award may come earlier somehow. I think my personal view is that the government was briefing deliberately about that, because once we got to the meeting, once our negotiators got to the meeting, there was no proposal. And although, again, there was some slight confusion afterwards about whether or not the meeting was constructive, I'd invite people to look at the government statement that it made at the end of the day. Nothing at all about a proposal. Instead, and this is what caused outrage and made me angry, they want to talk about productivity and efficiency. Quite how you become more productive as a nurse, caring for people, working 18 hours on a shift is beyond me. Now, look, if they wanted to talk about productivity, and if by that they meant you can spend more time per patient, that's my idea of productivity. That's not what they would have meant, because they said that the productivity proposals would need to go back to the Treasury. And the clue's in the title. That's about finance. That's about money.